Hello student, welcome back to the lecture series over the DC circuit. In the last lecture, we have seen the different fundamental circuit laws in which we have studied the Ohm's law, Kirchhoff's laws. In that also we have studied the Kirchhoff's current laws and Kirchhoff's voltage law. Initially we have seen what is the resistance and how to calculate it. Then we have seen very important laws, that is Ohm's law, which relates voltage, current and resistance. The ratio of voltage and current is nothing but the resistance that we have seen, and earlier also you people have studied. Then if resistances are in series as well as if they are in parallel, then how to calculate their equivalent values, that we have seen. And if they are in series or in parallel, then how to add their currents as well as voltages. And one more is that power, how to calculate the equivalent power, that we have studied in the previous lecture. Then if we have to find out the current or voltages in any part of the circuit, in any part of the means any branch of a of an electrical or electronic circuit, then we need to use the different laws, and one of the important laws is the Kirchhoff's laws. Kirchhoff's current laws as well as the Kirchhoff's voltage laws are very important for analyzing the electrical circuits. Then we have seen these laws. Laws are very simple and straightforward. We have seen the Kirchhoff's current laws, Kirchhoff's voltage law. Okay, now we are going to use these laws for analysis purpose. Analyzing the circuit means finding out the current as well as the voltages of our desired branch in an circuit. Then for that purpose, in a circuit we know that different EMF sources are there, voltage sources are there, as well as we came across the IR drops, that is the current to resistance drops. Then when these drops come in the analysis, then we need to use them with the proper sign. If the potential increases, if the potential or EMF voltage is increasing in the direction of our analysis, then we have to use the positive sign. If the voltages IR drops or EMF decreases in the direction of our analysis, then we have to use the negative sign. Okay, and that we have seen in the earlier lecture. Same we have to use for the analysis purpose when we will see some examples. Okay, in at that time we will give more focus on these signs. Then while discussion, we have already came across the various terminologies of the electrical circuit. Then the understanding about these terminologies may be the different for the different student. You have learned these earlier. Some of are having the means, some of you are aware what is the meaning of these terms properly, but there may be the ambiguity among some of the students. Therefore, again we will revise these terms so that whenever we will discuss, everyone's understanding will be the same. Then first of all, circuit. We are frequently using the word circuit in our discussion. A circuit is nothing but the closed conducting path through which an electrical current either flows or is intended to flow. Whenever we apply the voltage source or current source to a conducting path, if the current is circulating through it, then that is known as the circuit. Every circuit is having certain purpose for making the device on, or some other purpose the circuits are in use. Okay, circuits are made up of some components, some parameters, devices, as well as the conducting path, wires. Okay, conducting path may be the wires, that may be the track on the printed circuit board, or whatever maybe it is used for conducting the current is known as the circuit. Then along with this in the circuit, different parameters are in use, and different parameters we need to calculate. The various element of an electrical circuit are called as its parameter, like resistances, inductance, capacitances. These are the parameters, normally used parameters in the circuit. And these parameters are intentionally or unintentionally means are there in the circuit. We may use the resistors for resistance purpose, inductors for increasing the inductance, capacitors for increasing the capacitance in the circuit. Okay, as well as they are unintentionally are also available. If we are using the wires, then every wire is having the resistance. Okay, even if we are using the some certain kind of sources, that may be the voltage source, current source, then every source is having certain resistance. Okay, even they offer some inductance, capacitance, but they, as they are negligible, we may neglect while doing the analysis in the circuit. These parameters may be lump or distributed. Lump means if they are available at one point, if they are gathered at some particular location, then they are called as a lump. Okay, and if they are uniformly means available, uniformly spread over the circuit, then that is called as a distributed one. Normally, lump parameters, they are intentionally used in the circuit by using the resistors, inductors, capacitors. Means these the particular value of resistors, inductors, capacitor is used, and that is available only at that component. Therefore, the particular parameters is known as a lump parameter. And if that they are because of the wires which we have used for designing the circuit, then that is known as a distributed. Then one more parameter is the linear parameter, a linear circuit terminology. Frequently we are using this linear circuit. Here the spelling mistake is there. All of you have to make the correction. Linear, linear. Okay, please make the correction. Here spelling is linear, linear circuit. Then what is the linear and what is the non-linear circuit, that we will see. If the circuit parameters are, remains constant, irrespective of the variation in the voltages as well as the current, then that type of circuit is called as a linear circuit. That means even if the voltages and current changes, if there is no change in the resistance, inductors and capacitances, then that type of circuit is called as a linear circuit. And vice versa, if because of that change in the voltages and current, if your in the resistance, inductance and capacitance changes, that kind of circuit is called as a non-linear circuit. Now why to differentiate between these two? Because analysis, for while doing the analysis, we have to use a different approach for the linear circuit as well as the non-linear circuit. Don't forget, in the definition also we are frequently using, while in the definition of various laws, various we can say that theorems, we are using these terms. Therefore you must be able to distinguish between linear and non-linear circuit. Then bilateral and unilateral circuit. Then in the next on the next page you will see the unilateral also. Then what is the difference between bilateral and unilateral? A bilateral circuit is one whose properties or characteristics are the same in either direction. The usual transmission line is a bilateral because it can be made to perform its function equally well in either direction. For example, if a wire is there and if we apply the voltage, then current is circulating from wire to a particular device. Okay, but if we use the battery on other side of that wire, then also it works. Therefore, the direction is not important. Where we are applying the EMF, change the direction of the current. If this is possible and this happens, then that type of circuit is known as a bilateral circuit. Similarly, in unilateral, there are certain circuits where the direction change is not possible and does not allowed. For example, if we are using a diode in a circuit, then we know that diode is a unidirectional. Diode is the unidirectional, having the unidirectional properties. It works only in one direction, that is in the forward bias direction diode works. In the reverse bias direction, diode does not work. Okay, diode behave as an open circuit in that condition. If diode like components devices are used in a circuit, then that type of circuit is called as a unilateral circuit. Okay, normally in this unit we are going to do the analysis of a circuit which those are bidirectional in nature. Then electrical network, if a combination of various electrical elements connected in any manner whatsoever is called as an electrical network. If different circuits come across and with the various element, other element, electrical element, then that is called as the electrical network. Then again, passive network and active network. Passive network is one which contains no source of EMF. A passive network is the network which cannot amplify, which is not having the ability to change the direction. None of the component is used which can have the ability to change the direction of the circuit, as well as doesn't contain any EMF source, is called as a passive network. Whereas in active network, one or more than source of EMFs are there, that will be the current source or voltage source if present in the network, then that is called as the active network. Active network can amplify, they are having the tendency to change the direction of the electrical current or voltages. Then in electrical circuit, nodes are there. Nodes are nothing but the junction in a circuit where two or more circuit elements are connected together. Okay, if two branches, wherever the two branches means get connected, that point is also called as a node. Branch is that part of the network which lies between the two junctions. Okay, node, or it is also called as node, is alternate name of the node is also a junction. And wherever the part between the two junction is known as a branch. Then important, this is more important from exam point of view. In exam, these terms are frequently asked. What is the difference between loop as well as the mesh? Sometimes the circuit is also given, and using that circuit you have to find out the number of loop as well as the mesh. Then what is the loop? Loop is nothing but it is a closed path in a circuit in which no element or node is encountered more than once. Means loop is a kind of closed path in which no element or node is encountered more than once. Okay, then for example here this if this is the node, okay, this is here node numbers are given, node number 1 2 3, then here is the node number 4 5. Then loop means in a loop these nodes should not be encountered twice. Okay, means they should come in that particular loop only one time. Okay, and this component also, for example component means r1 r2, they should not come again and again, that is called as a loop. Then how many loops are there? Here you can see that first of all this is also a loop, 1 2 5 6, this is one loop. Then another loop is that 2 3 5 2 3 4 5, this is another loop. Okay, these are the two loop. Then one more we can say that loop is there. Then 1 2 3, then this 4 5 6, and here again back. Then here you can see that there are means 3 loops are there in this circuit. Okay, now here uh, okay, here you can see that in here they have given in figure number A there are 7 branches. How which branches are there? 6 node are there, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7, and 7 branches. This 1 to 2 one branch, 2 to 3 second branch, 3 to 4 third branch, 4 to 5 fourth branch, 5 to 6 fifth branch, 6 to 1 sixth branch, and 2 to 5. These are the 7 branches. 6 nodes we have seen, 3 loops also we have seen, and we'll see the mesh also. Here only 2 nodes are there, this is one node and this is the second node. Okay, other nodes are not there. Actually you will confuse then how this is connected. Actually this is connected like this one. Okay, okay, means only 2 nodes are there. Only 2 nodes are there in this circuit, and nodes are shown with the dark circle. Then in this case how many loops are there? Here you can see that this is the one loop. First of all, how many branches we will see? 2 nodes are there. Then this is the one branch. From here to here, one branch. Then this is the second branch, 2. Then this is the third branch. Okay, and last one is the fourth branch. Okay. Okay. Then two nodes, four branches we have seen. Then six loops are there. Can you see which are the six loops available in this second figure? Then this is first loop. This is loop 1. This is loop 2. Okay, simple. Loop 3 is there. Okay, loop 1, loop 2, loop 3. Then one more loop, fourth loop. This is the fourth loop. Then this is the fifth loop, and finally this is the sixth loop. These are the six loops available in this second circuit. Then if we go ahead, then mesh, we have to see the mesh. What is the mesh? Actually there is very dilute, or we can say that we can say very dilute difference between loop and mesh. It is a loop that contains no other loops within it. If no loops are inside the that particular loop, this many that loop is also called as a mesh. Okay, then if we see this figure number A, in that if we see the first loop, then in this loop there is no other loops, therefore this loop may be called as a mesh. Then this is first mesh. Similarly here also this loop doesn't contain any other loop, therefore this is also a mesh. Means this figure contains two mesh. If we see for third loop is using the entire circuit, but in this loop there are two other loops, therefore this loop cannot be called as a mesh. Okay, therefore only two loops are there in the first figure. If we go here also, then here also of 1 2 3, these three loops are there, but if we go for the other loops, then that contains the other loops. Loop contains the loop, therefore only three meshes are there in the second figure also. Okay, I hope so that all of you have understood the difference between loop and mesh. Again, if you are having any doubt, you can ask me personally also. Then because of the time limitation we will stop here, but next discussion we will carry in the next video. Till then, goodbye.